created this mobile when my son was 3rd grade. He asked, he said, Dad, we're having various parents come in. Some are firefighters, policemen in 3rd grade, and they're talking about what they're doing. And so when my son came home and said, would you come to my class and share with the rest of the class and the students what you do when you're working with ranchers? And like every proud father, I stuck out my chest and said, sure. And I immediately began, and I talked to the teacher, we got the date set, and about 3 days before I was to give my presentation, I kind of had an anxiety attack. I'm going, how the heck can I explain to 3rd graders what holistic management is? Because they can't even spell it. And they can't understand the big words that we put on these flip chart materials, some of those things. So I created this mobile. So all of you in this room are Eli's age. Eli, I want you to take a deep breath and just blow on any part of this mobile you want. But just, I want a big gust. So take a deep breath and then let her loose. Can you do that? All right, go. I'll get a little closer. Stand up a little closer. All right, now do it again. And then I ask the rest of the class, take one more breath. Get a little closer. Really let her loose. There we go. All right. My question to the rest of the class is, what did he change? When he blew on that one facet, whether it's the animals, the plants, the family, or Eli, there's simply you. Pull on that you right there. Pull it up and down. You want to throw a tantrum. What does that do to the rest of the family? Let go of it. Do kids have impact in our lives when they cooperate or don't cooperate? Do divorces rattle our operations to the teeth and the bones? And some of those things. And you can kind of see this mobile, the last class I had it, I had a big windstorm. I left it in the garage, and the wind took it right out of the rafters and dropped it to the ground. And so families kind of had a tough time. It's been chipped at, toothed at, and some of those things here. All right. Where you live in Colorado is in eastern Colorado, right? Were there buffalo on that landscape 200, 250, 300 years ago?
Probably.
Small herds or big herds?
Both.
Both? Probably lots. I mean, I grew up in Scotts Bluff, in that part of Nebraska, and I remember reading a lot of history books that talk about how these millions of head would come across the plains of Nebraska and into Colorado, going up and down from Texas all the way back into Saskatchewan, Alberta. What did we do with those buffalo that used to be on where your ranch is today? What did we do with those buffalo?
Hunted them?
Hunted them?
Yeah.
Killed most of them, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, come here. I want you, and I'll pull it down, to take off the animals right there. And I'll pop it open so you can get it. All right, now pull it up. We did this in 2 decades. What did we do to the relationship of plants and animals that have been for hundreds of years, thousands of years, interacting and relating to one another, and without any no real forethought, we simply thought, okay, these large herds of buffalo are making it hard for me to raise livestock, hard for me to raise crops. I want to be a settler, a pioneer, farm this. So what did we do with the balance? What did you see, Eli? What do you see with this balance? What happened to it?
It changed.
It changed, didn't it? Did it change just a little bit?
Yeah.
Or a lot?
A lot.
It changed a lot, didn't it? You notice the spacing between these things, and that things are now, I call it crashing and colliding together. And that the water is running into over here. We got the animals, we got family, and we got all those various things in here. And you look at this spacing here, what's your mom and dad do if they see all ants or grasshoppers eating the garden or a spider crawling across the floor? What do you do with insects?
Smush them.
Smush them. So if we take off the insects off of here, are we adding balance or are we adding even more instability? If we take these off, it's right now I have it wired together and I can't get it off. But if I take this off, what do we even now do to the balance? Are we creating more chaos?
Yeah.
And history is important, and there's actually, again, documenting in history, and your mom needs to show that to you, is after we get rid of the buffalo, 2 decades later, They were building railroad tracks across the United States. Grasshopper and locust outbreaks got so severe, there were so many grasshoppers on the tracks, it greased the tracks, and the train tracks came to a halt. You think there's any correlation? So one action leads to what? Another, and another, and another. We don't think of that when whether I hook up a plow in the morning, move animals from one pasture to the other, grab a gallon of whatever it is, or start killing things. We really don't question how does it affect the whole. How does it affect you and I? How does it affect the wives? The people that live in town. This is holistic management, folks. And this is what we need to kind of anticipate. We don't have 100% certainty. I don't have. I've been doing this for 30 years. Can I accurately predict? No, but I know I need to look for things. So this is what you need to do. You need to help your mom and dad when they're wanting to do certain things with the land. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Very good. Go back to your seat. Thank you.
I will.